Hi. Hello there. Well, today I decided I'm just going to talk a little bit and I'm going to add this video, which might not seem to fit my art channel, but in a way it does because my art is very spiritual and I've been into metaphysics since my 20s. And suddenly I'm getting all these synchronicities because I've been doing this integration work for the past couple of years. Well, for 30 years I've been doing it. But, it goes in stages. And it's come up to speak about my mother. And this is really for anyone who has someone that they have lived with that had schizophrenia. However, for me, I wasn't raised with her. I was raised with her until 5 years old. And then my dad got custody of me, and I was raised with my grandmother. But when I was 14, I decided to take a bus and meet her again because my family that had custody of me decided to try to keep us apart because they were fearful. And most people are fearful of schizophrenia because it's, you know, not to be spoken about. And, it's just something that people are embarrassed of. And I am really doing this not only for me, but for my mom. And I hope she can let go of all this because I had a dream about her just the other day, and she was standing there in the dark, in the distance, and she was looking at me, and I got a telepathic message is, you don't know what I've been through. And I'm thinking, yeah, I do, but I don't. I really don't. All I know is from stories told to me. Of course, I was a child. So let me get my thoughts together, and I'm going to put this all together, especially for her, because I want to make sure that I tell the story authentically, honestly, and positively. And we have to look at this positively because this led me on a journey. I can't tell you all my life working in nursing homes, psych wards, severe psych wards. I got to witness it all, and it was thanks to my mom that I discovered so many things on a spiritual level about mental illness. And, they say it does happen hereditary, or that's the diagnosis, medical diagnosis. I'm going to tell you a little different story about it. It goes a little bit differently. However, for some, it definitely is something that is medically seriously wrong with the brain, or, you know, unresolved trauma. And that's what we'll get to. So I guess I can start by talking about other people that have experienced this, and everyone's situation is different. So what I say doesn't mean that it's the same for everyone. And I've heard other people say that too, because everyone has different experiences, different parents, siblings, friends, acquaintances, someone they worked with, patient, nurse. Everything is going to be a different experience. And mine is a little mix of paranormal uh, and spirituality, healing, because I do healing and I'm into metaphysics, and I have been. I also have read a lot of, you know, authors way back when, especially Dr. Bruce Lipton, where he talks about the child downloads, like our subconscious gets programmed from birth, which is 0 to 6 years old, and everything just gets downloaded, even the traumas or whatever. And we're so delicate at that age, like sponges. And my point of saying that is a lot of this comes out when you're an adult. And I've been working on doing a lot of healing because I think I downloaded a lot of issues, and I'm working through them all. And I feel this is like the last of the transition for me. And I'm getting this push to talk about it, which I thought it was healed, but obviously it's not. So even though I wasn't raised with her, like I said, I was with her till I was 5 years old. So you can imagine everything that was downloaded into my little child brain has been something that has been happening throughout my life, many different issues. So that said, I want to get to the point of when I did start meeting her again. She's really funny, a funny lady, and beautiful. She was so beautiful. She didn't like really talk to herself or anything. She was just like a storyteller, like me, but she told disillusion stories, and only about herself, not like fairy tales, like she saw things that weren't there. I never experienced that with her. She was always paranoid. And I feel terrible that I used to get so angry at her because I could see her being like normal at times, and I'm like, oh my God, there she is, and then I would just like yell at her all the time because I couldn't deal with it. Like she was afraid of, everything. And like, what are you afraid of? So I'm actually trying to figure out where to begin because this story can get very long. So I told you that I started to go visit her, and she was institutionalized, which sucked because it didn't help her at all. And there's people out there that have not been diagnosed with schizophrenia and have not gotten help. But either way, I don't know if it's good or bad. It's getting the proper help. And it depends on each individual in the situation. So as I started to get to know her again and visit her, she was so sweet and funny and just quirky. She was a beautician in the 70s or late 60s, early 70s. And her do was the beehive. And she was so good at the beehive. She loved it. I mean, really did a good job. Here's a picture of her. And people in the 80s looked at her like she was goofy. I mean, everyone turned head. She liked that, though. But I can see them looking at her weirdly, like, and, they would piss me off. But she didn't care. She didn't care at all. She was so happy to be herself. So I did get to know her, and I found out a lot of things about her through family members. And apparently she was molested at 4 years old by her father. Not by her father, by her father's friend. However, that happened later in life by the father. And she told me, as we got older, she told me, probably several years before she passed away. She did pass away in 2013. And I dreamt about her transition the whole time, and it wasn't good. And I don't think she's still healed. So it's finally, I have to get this out because, I learned from her, to laugh. This fairy doll reminds me of her. That's how she would laugh all the time. And, she just said it like it was. She was beautiful. She liked fashion, and she, who did she love? She loved, oh, what's that Italian lady? I can't think of it. It'll come to me. Anyway, and then some singers, but she was funny and would sing out loud, and, but anyway, point being, I did get to know her and tried to get close with her. And one day I decided, well, I'm into metaphysics, and I think I was like 27 or 28, and I did a healing on her. This changed everything, because when I did a healing on her, I did this elaborate healing, hands-on, Christ, metaphysics mixed with Christ, okay? I think, information is infinite. So it's not just all compiled in one little book. It's infinite. So I'll just say that. And I did the healing on her. And whatever was attached to her attacked me. And I went through this profound experience for a week, feeling what she would feel like. However, I had the awareness, because I knew that it wasn't her. You think it's you, but it's not. It's a spirit attached. And it left her and attached to me. Well, finally, I did have people around me, luckily, some elder people that were way more spiritual than me, teachers to me. And one day they saw my house. One did a healing on me because I was getting into a depression. I started hearing not voices, but yeah, maybe it was voices, but not the way you think. Like, hearing voices is such a stigma. It's more like hearing other beings from other, outside of you or within you that you draw to you. I'll have to get into that, but I was hearing like negative stuff about myself, and I knew it wasn't my own thoughts. I had that clarity, luckily, because I was into metaphysics, and I was already a spiritual person. And so I had one woman, Debbie, she did Reiki on me. And this was a lady who I met through another dear friend of mine named Blanche. And she had many spiritual experiences. They knew exactly what to do right away. She did a Reiki healing on me and saw my house. She said it was filled with black. And she's like, she named everything in my house. She's never had been in my house. And that night she told me to lay down, and at a certain time she would do a Reiki healing on me. Well, she saw 3 angels at the foot of my bed. She said they were so huge. One was a Native American, and then there were 2 angels on the right and the left of me. And they were trying to, protect me or something. I don't know what was going on with that, but she cleared it and sealed everything. And that was that. I was fine. But in that time, my mom was fine too. She was like more normal than ever. Well, when I spoke to that being or entity, when I knew, and when I really knew what it was, and I'm like, you have no right to be in my space. It had to leave because I'm a sovereign being. Well, it said in my ear, it said, I'll be back. And I said, no, you won't, blah, 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 And I smudged and always cleansed my chakras and stuff. But as I went on in time, I continued with my spirituality. Nothing happened. My mom, of course, it went back to her. And I did speak with a girl who was a seer, and she told me that there is an ancestor line that has a jinn attached to it. I'm like, what is a jinn? Well, a jinn is a spiritual entity that is negative. I guess there could be positive ones too. I'm not sure. But this is an ancestral line that was attacking this family all the way back into Germany. So it's been a long time. My grandfather's German, which is my mom's father. My whole other side is Italian that I was raised with. And so I did clearings all the time and stuff like that. I never had any problems with it affecting me. Well, maybe it was like years later in 2012, my mom was really, no, it was actually after she passed away. That's right, in 2013. After my mom passed away, she got dementia, of course, and she was in a nursing home. First, she was out for a while, and she did take care of herself. She was able to drive and everything. My grandfather had taken her out of the institution and, tried to get her well. However, things didn't go well. And I'm not going to go there, but I said it earlier. And then finally, after he passed away, my grandmother had gotten her a subsidized house or an apartment, and she did very well. She was driving on her own. And then as time went on, I don't know what happened, where something happened again where she needed a guardian. Oh, she got in a car accident. She smashed her car into the apartment. It was brick. She didn't do anything to it, but to her car she did. So they wanted to put her in a nursing home. So I had to become guardian because I was the only one that I guess could do it. That was really, I was kind of pushed to do it, to be honest with you. I didn't really want to do it because I wasn't raised with my mom. I just didn't want that responsibility because I had my own issues of not having a mother. And, I couldn't even take care of myself at the time. I had my own home. I was struggling. I was in my 30s with my own home trying to, make it. Working in a bookstore, you don't make much money in a bookstore. But, so I became the guardian. I did go through with it, and I'm glad I did because it brought us a little closer, and I was forced to spend more time with her and get into this world, with social, social services and word of the state kind of crap in court and stuff like that, which is a nightmare. And the people there don't really care. I'm sorry. In my experience, maybe they will for you, so I can't say that for everyone. In my experience, they care, but they don't. It's just a job and a paycheck to them. And they put my mom on so much medication. She was a zombie. I mean, there were times she was walking like a robot and walking into the wall and walking back and walking. I'd have to move her and she'd walk back into the wall like she was like a robot. It was like insane. Well, this doctor accidentally put her on another heavy dose of medication. I'd have to look them all up. I don't remember the names of them, but they're the most dangerous ones. Maybe I can look that up and put it in. And then kept her on the other one, didn't take her off of it. So the nurses at the nursing home were giving her both. So she was like a robot, and she would just sit there. And if you didn't watch her, she would fall over and just fall. And one day, I'll never forget, and I'm so sorry, Mom. This is like heart-wrenching for me. I sat her up to take her out, and I sat her on the bed, and I was getting turned around for 1 second to get her sweater. She fell, boom, right on her face, off the bed, like stiff, like that. So she had a welt on her face, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I lifted her up. She was just like a zombie, from all this medication. So, well, finally, of course, her brain shrunk from it all too. So it caused her to have dementia. So she really didn't know what was going on. So finally, when she passed away, I had moved, but I was still guardian, and I moved to Arizona. And it was 2013, and she was in a nursing home, and my family members were kind of taking over for me, but I was still the guardian. But I had just got married a year before, and I wanted to start my own life. So after she died, all of a sudden I start getting anxiety. And I'm thinking, what the heck? And I'm having nightmares of my mother, like just suffering. And acting really when she was at her worst. When she was institutionalized, she was at her worst. It's like you become what's around you. And I know that she had a mentality too, like not even her mentality, her will was broken. Her spirit was broken. So she's like, if I can't beat it, I got to join it, kind of thing. And it was heartbreaking to watch. So when I was in Arizona, all of a sudden I start getting these nightmares, and then whisper on my neck. You could feel it, like where your hair would blow, and it would send chills, like terror of terror. And I can't even explain what that feels like. There's no explanation unless you know what terror, you have to feel terror to know what it is. I don't know how these negative entities can do it, but they do it. So I'm telling my husband, and he's Native American, he's smudging, and it would go away for a little bit. And I'm saying, in the name of Christ, and it would go away, but I'm sorry, it doesn't work. I believe in Jesus, okay? I believe in Jesus. But Christ said to me in a meditation, you have to become me. I am not outside of you. I'm within you. I'm a part of you. So I raised my vibration. I felt that joy and laughter, and things started to dissipate negatively. And it happened fast because, when this stuff happens, I get on it. So I was looking for a healer at that time. And there was some man random I found online, and he gave free readings to people who needed help. He was a genuine healer. He was so loving, and he would help people. So we had an appointment, and all he said was, he says, if you want to have an appointment with me, that's fine. He goes, but Christine, just remember this. He says, love is the highest vibration there is, and nothing lower can match it. Simple as that. And that was like a revelation. That was an epiphany for me. It's all about energy. These beings are just energy. They don't have physical form. If you're in a high vibration of love, then how can anything lower match it? But there was something within me, could be subconscious, that matched that. So even though I knew that, I was able to keep up my spiritual practices and do my spiritual art and the messages that come with it, until finally I stopped because of the, war that's going on in the world now. I mean, heavenly and earthly. I stopped because there's too much. It's easy to be infiltrated. So I realized that it's all about keeping your vibe high, keeping love. So I did know this. I did know this, but not to the extent where it hit me as a realization, because I used to give my mom a prayer, and it was, what was it? I'll put the prayer in the description. And she would be normal for like a couple days. She would say that prayer over and over again, and she would be like a regular mom. Like, I did not sense any schizophrenia in her. So prior to her passing away, while I was taking care of her, I was working at other jobs, and I always got the jobs I didn't want. I applied because I really needed to get more money and make more money. So I would apply at these hospitals all the time, and and nursing homes and healthcare aides. So I was all of the above. But the one job that I got, so you witness mental illness in all of those, fields. And the one job I got was at the VA, and it was in the psych wards. And we used to have to go to the severe psych wards and, like be their guard sometimes and stuff like that. And man, did I witness that. And many times I could see the entities around them. You could feel it. You can sense it. And someday they're totally normal. So it led me on a totally different path, which this book. So I woke up this morning and I realized I have to cut into this story to tell you the most important part of the story that I missed, which was, it just happened yesterday when I was watching that young girl's video, and she was telling about her own story about her mother. I got the revelation to go grab that book that I showed you. So when I came into the garage, I noticed this painting that I did. Now I'm in my garage. This is where I do my art. It's a mess, but that painting that I did was upside down, and I took a picture of it. So they kind of freaked me out. My husband was in here, and he said, I go, did you turn it around? And he's like, no. He goes, I was wondering if you were letting it dry that way. And I'm like, no, I didn't turn it around. So it gave me the chills. So I lost train of thought, and I went back into the living room, and I came back out here to go grab the book. Come to find, that book was thrown on the floor on top of another book, and I'll show you that clip. So first my painting's upside down, and now these books are down here. They're in those slots. And my dolphin used to sit up here. This is in my garage here. Oh my God. I know what it is. Destiny of souls. Oh, wow. Let's put the dolphin back. Journey of Souls is up there. And I had that other book there. Maybe I had those two together there. How the heck? There's no mice. If you can see it. Here's her name. It's Remarkably Healings. A psychiatrist discovers unsuspected roots of mental and physical illness. You will be blown away at this. You know what this is? A lot of attachments of entities. That's what my mom had, okay? From trauma, from 4 years old. Not only that, is this ancestry line of a jinn, supposedly. Okay, so I get rid of it, and it doesn't say it's coming back, so it. So present day, I have a dream, and this is what led me to tell this story about her. I guess my point is that it's not all mental illness, and it's not all, go pop meds. It's actually doing spiritual work, subconscious work, and it's cleansing the soul and the ancestry lines. Now, of course, I'm telling the story because I'm going to give suggestions on how to do it. And you can do it until you're blue in the face. And if you don't have this aha moment revelation, which was what I had recently, and is to tell this story, which I never thought I needed to, but if it helps one person, then I'm supposed to tell it. And if it helps my mom and clean the ancestry lines, then it does. But present day, I had a young starseed friend who was very intelligent and wise, and he started channeling, and he started getting attacked. I was there to help him through it, and I've helped other people in family who got attacked and how to get rid of it. And this was weird though, because he's like, do you feel anxiety? I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, well, I do. And I'm like, something's going on with him. I said, you need to protect yourself you need to know more about what you're doing when you're channeling. You don't just go in and do it. You have to, you have to channel the Holy Spirit, and at least know that you are, and I'm not talking in a religious sense. It's the Holy Spirit. It is what it is. Holy Spirit. Absolute source. Okay? And anyone or any other being that would like to speak with you who loves you unconditionally. So he's like, my guide's this, my guide's that. Well, he knew he got attacked. He was enraged. He broke his laptop and everything. But the point of my story here is that at the very end, he says to me, well, I got rid of it. Thank you. And there was love exchange because he's a very young guy. And I was so glad to be a part of his life. And he says, do you believe what it said to me at the end? I'll be back. It's like, you're kidding me. It did not say that. And he's like, yeah, it said, I'll be back. And I'm like, was it, sneakily aiming at me? So I just kind of let it go. And I'm like, that is so weird, but there's no coincidences. Okay. Well, a week or so later, and mind you, I'm arguing with my husband. I cut my finger open, almost to the bone. What else has been happening? Like, I fell in the mud like 3 times walking my dogs. I was covered in mud too. Not just a little bit, covered in mud. My ankle's been so painful, like not even able to sleep at night. My dreams were weird, and my dreams are good. My dreams tell me exactly everything. I have dreams that, of family members and friends, anyone who passed away, their transition. I would dream about them for about a year, and I have all that written down about what they went through the transition. Okay, so go back to the friend. We cleared it. He knows about the higher love. He knows, and and that was that, and he's fine. He's going to be fine too, because he just has that knowledge. And the thing is, the dark is a catalyst. It is something that will show you how light you are. So you can't fear it. It's a part of God. God is good. And I can't say God is light and dark. I don't want to call it bad, but if God is always the opposites. There's opposites. There's positive and negative. It's just, it's going to show you, at least in this third dimension. So go a little bit further. I'm not knowing what's going on. And then I have a dream. And one of my aunts, who always comes to me in dreams, she hands me a letter and I open it and I feel myself tearing it open. And there was another dream, a lucid dream before that, where I saw myself with my eyes shut and I told myself, open your eyes. And I opened my eyes. So it's something that I wasn't seeing. Then I have this dream and my aunt hands me the letter and I open it up and it says, they're getting ready to attack you. So on that same day that I had the dream, these oracle cards that I love, they're Light Code Apothecary by Izzy Ivy. They come and they're all about healing yourself. So I activate the cards and I'm shuffling them up, and I just to mix them, a card flies out and it says unwanted. So the unwanted fit right there. So I'm thinking, I start clearing myself, I'm smudging, I'm doing all that. And I keep getting, so I want to know more. And it's more about healing what's in you. So I'm doing all this ancestry work. I'm like, because I kept getting the ancestry card, the ancestry lineage. So I'm declaring it in the name of Christ, declaring it and declaring it for myself. And I'm thinking, okay, well, good. And then I keep getting it. And it's like, I'm doing what I'm not getting what I'm missing. So the synchronicities are strange. Okay. So I'm watching this one video, and 1 second, I'll come right back because I want to check the phone here. Okay. So I'm watching this girl's video, which I had no thoughts about negativity because I've been meditating twice a day to Joe Dispenza, cleansing my chakras, doing the heart meditation. I know I'm clearing. I know it. And I'll tell you what, even though these entities can terrify you, never fear, because I never feared anything. Never feared it, and I don't fear it now. And you cannot have the fear at all. You might feel it in the moment, but once you know, no fear. You know, it is what it is. And this is another thing. Everything is energy. So if anything negative were to come into your field, if you love it, like I was explaining about love, if you love it, it has to polarize to love, because it has to polarize to love. Because either it's going to feel that vibration or that energy, it's going to mix with that energy, or it's going to leave. It's going to be like skedaddle. So, you know, I say, I love you, dark. You've been a catalyst to show me how light I am. So anyway, to get back to it, I'm watching this girl, Genevieve Clow. She has a YouTube channel, but she's doing these, I forget what it's called. It's this app that a lot of people were doing scary things with it. And what it is it's like a metaphysics. It's a physics app where it uses a theory of chaos. So it was designed to use your intention. What's it called? If somebody knows, put it down, but I'll put it up there. I don't remember all these names. I'm just watching these videos, but so, and I have someone texting me here. So I'm watching this, and I noticed some of the real scary ones because you put an intention into it and it will give you coordinates of where to travel to. And you will find your manifestation of the intention you set. Now, people are using it for negative. They're finding gross things. But I just put in and I put in the app's name, positive stories. I want to hear, you know, if this really is true and it uses your intention, why aren't you using it for positive? Well, there are positive stories. So anyway, hers I came across by accident. And I think she had a couple positive stories, but the first one I see of hers is about living with a mother who was schizophrenic. How that led to that, which is kind of weird because my intention all along has been, what am I supposed to heal with the ancestors? What am I healing here? And in a way, my intention led me to something, some app that creates intentions that I did not use. I just was watching videos of it. And it led to her. Well, there was one post from someone on her YouTube that just gave me another revelation. Can you see it? So I'll read it to you. It says, "Thank you for opening up and being vulnerable. Through us opening up and healing ourselves, we heal our mothers and our daughters and our sons. We are healing our ancestry lineage. We all need to heal that sadness, that guilt within of yesterday. And the first steps toward healing is talking about it. Powerfully done. Love, Danu, South Africa." So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to tell the story. That's going to clear it. That's the revelation. So I told you my story. And if there's anybody who had the same experience living with someone with schizophrenia, you know, this kind of stuff is not mainstream. You know, they'll probably throw the book at you, but I recommend it. What's her name? Is it on here? On the back? It's on the front. Okay. And that's her. I've had this book for years, and it really tells you how you can try it. You know, if it doesn't work, then, you know, there's many medical routes for help for people. And, you know, I'm not saying replace this with doctor recommendations, your regular doctor or anything like that, but in conjunction with that, this will help. The other didn't work for me and my mom. I mean, maybe it did financially because she was able to get in a nursing home, and I had to go find many, and she was kicked out of a lot of them because her diagnosis was, I guess, because it was paranoid schizophrenia. You know, her diagnosis didn't fit in a lot of homes. You know, some were just, you know, it was too severe. And I did not want her in a facility, an institution. I wanted her in a country home, and I did get her that, like a nursing home, which was so much better, you know, and you have to do a lot of work with that. But anyway, I hope this helps somebody. There's way more to the story, of course, but I gave you a long gist of it. And if it helps somebody, I'm so glad. And thank you for listening, and come back to see some of my art too. Okay, in closing, I want to say thank you for listening to my story. And I dedicate this story to my mother because it's her story and mine. And it's really not about me. It's about her. However, it affected me and her and many of us. So I just want to say to my mother that it's okay. I understand it was just a third dimensional experience, and it was to teach us all something, including yourself, and that you are so loved, that you are love. And I declare that by telling this story, our ancestry line and my ancestry line is cleared. No hooks, no attachments, no jinns, nothing. It's done, so it is. In all time and space, multidimensionally, if I said that, I'm repeating it. And that's it. So it is. So I hope that this helps you, someone, and you can declare it too. So you have a wonderful day now. Take care.